CDL Book Club. Jeff Mills right here at CDL Grounds. We're going to start the pre-trip for the dump truck. This is a Class B vehicle. This will be the same for as far as the dump truck or the bus. Only thing different between the two is the inside of the bus. So we'll talk about both of them. All right, so now we're going to start with my keys in my pocket and my wheels of chalk. Okay, my wheels of chalk. Now we're going to start at the top of the vehicle with my ID clearance lights. My ID clearance lights and my turn signal lights. They're amber in color. Not cracked, not broken, and secure. No condensation. Remember, anytime you're talking about lights, remember the definition is no condensation. The windshield. It's not cracked, not broken, and secure. No outdated stickers. No obstructions. The seal around the windshield. It's not cracked, not broken, and secure. Anything rubber, you want to say not dry rotted or frayed. So it's not dry rotted or frayed. The windshield wipers are not cracked, not broken, and secure. They're flush to the windshield, and they are not dry rotted or frayed. Then you move down to the fender. Now you may have fender mirrors, like on the bus here. The bus has fender mirrors. So you want to mention those fender mirrors. If you don't have fender mirrors, then don't talk about the fender mirrors. But the fender mirrors are not cracked, not broken, and secure, and no loose or missing parts. Okay? Then you move down to the headlights. The headlights are not cracked, not broken, and secure. They're clean in color and no condensation. Tag is properly secure. No outdated stickers. Now, my tires are properly inflated to the manufacturer's specification. Now, underneath the vehicle, I'm checking for any leaks or puddles or loose or hanging wires. If I had any leaks or puddles or loose or hanging wires or broken glass, I will place the vehicle out of service. The suspension is balanced. If it wasn't balanced, I will place my vehicle out of service. This is called the approach. So now you want to have your latches already unlatched. Okay, you want to have them already unlatched to show that you are prepared and you are ready to go. Now you want to come from the approach and you go over to the passenger side. So you raise the hood up, and the rule is start from the top, from right to left, top to bottom, in and out to you. So the first thing we want to start with is in the front is your radiator. The radiator, it's not cracked, not broken, and secure. No leaks. And the radiator has a hose. It's not cracked, not broken, and secure. No leaks, not dry rotted or frayed, and it's properly clamped. Now we want to make time, so we want to say I will talk about all the rest of my hoses the same way as I did my initial hose. Now you don't have to talk about hoses anymore. Okay? Next part is your coolant reservoir. It's not cracked, not broken, and secure. No leaks. It should read between the add and the full mark. And underneath the radiator is you have a radiator hose. Well, let's call it a water pump hose, and that water pump hose goes to the water pump, and the water pump is not cracked, not broken, and secure, and no leaks, and it is belt driven. Anytime you have a serpentine belt, that means that it goes around everything. Okay, this one belt, serpentine. Next part is your now let me just say real quick, this air filter, I know we said from right to left, top to bottom, but this air filter, any air filter, you do not have to mention. Now, so we go down to your alternator and the alternator bracket. It's not cracked, not broken, and secure. No illegal welds. It's belt driven. The belt should have no more than 3/4 inch play. So you want to kind of tug on it, and it's not dry rotted or frayed. Your alternator cables, not cracked, not broken, and secure, and not dry, rotted, or frayed. Then you go to the exhaust. You say the exhaust is not cracked, not broken, and secure, not dry. I'm sorry, it's not cracked, not broken, and secure, no leaks. And if it had any leaks, it would show black soot. And it runs underneath from the manifold, underneath the cab, up the stack here. Okay. And one last engine part is your windshield washer fluid reservoir. It's not cracked, not broken, and secure, no leaks. Now you go right here to your fuel tank. Your fuel tank, not a gas tank, but fuel tank, not cracked, not broken, and secure, and no leaks. Fuel tank is held up by metal and rubber straps. It's not cracked, not broken, and secure, not dry, rotted, or frayed, no illegal welds. And the fuel tank has fuel lines, not cracked, not broken, and secure, no leaks. Your fuel tank should have a metal chain with a rubber seal. It's not cracked, not broken, and secure, not dry, rotted, or frayed. Not cracked, not broken, and secure, not dry, rotted, or frayed. You have a step. Now, while you are putting this top back on, you can be working and talking at the same time. So your step is not cracked, not broken, and secure. It's metal. No illegal welds. Any parts that have metal, you want to say no illegal welds. No debris on the steps. Now, this will be the completion of the passenger side. The only thing that you do, that you mention on the passenger side, are the parts that are not on the driver's side. You have two systems here. You have braking and suspension, and you do not want to mention those parts right on this side. So we go from the passenger side on over to the driver's side. And keep in mind, you start at the top, from right to left, top to bottom. And what do we have? We have the transmission and the oil dipstick. They're not cracked, not broken, and secure, no leaks. How you would check it? You pull it out, wipe it off, insert it back in, pull it back out, and it should read between the add and the full mark. You do not have to demonstrate it, you just have to be able to talk about it. Next, inside here would be your AC compressor. The AC compressor has lines. So you want to say not cracked, not broken, and secure, and no leaks. It's on the side. So the opposite of belt driven would be gear driven. So this AC compressor would be considered gear driven. Now the only parts left on this side would be your three systems. Always start with the reservoir. The power steering fluid reservoir. It's not cracked, not broken, and secure, no leaks. If you, how you would check it? You would check it the same way as you mentioned the transmission and the oil. Pull the dipstick out, wipe it off, insert it back in, pull it out, and it should read between the add and the full mark. Then you go over to your steering shaft. The steering shaft is metal. Not cracked, not broken, and secure. No illegal welds. No more than 2 inches of play. And down to the universal joints. You want to mention universal joints. They are in the shape of a U. Universal joints, not cracked, not broken, and secure. No leaks. No illegal welds. No debris wrapped around it, and no loose or missing parts. Down to the gearbox. This is the gearbox. Fluid from the power steering reservoir goes down this hose to the gearbox. So that means the gearbox is holding fluid. So you say not cracked, not broken, and secure, no leaks, no loose or missing parts. Then you want to mention there's another hose and that goes to the back right here from the power steering reservoir, and it goes down the back, and that would be your steering pump. The pump is not cracked, not broken, and secure. No leaks, and it's gear driven. So mention that. Now you go back to the gearbox, and what's connected to the gearbox would be your pitman arm. The pitman arm is not cracked, not broken, and secure. No illegal welds. And it goes to the drag link. And the pitman arm, the drag link, the upper and lower control arm, and the tie rod, they are connected by the castle nut and cotter pins. Castle nut and cotter pins.
Give me a second.
They are connected by the castle nut and cotter pins. See that? They called castle nut because the nut has ridges so that they can catch the cotter pin, just in case if the nut became loose. Inside and these parts are all metal, so you say not cracked, not broken, and secure. No illegal welds. And in between each part is a rubber bushing. So you want to mention that rubber bushing, not cracked, not broken, and secure. Not dry rotted or frayed. The last part for the steering system would be right in the middle right there, and that would be your spindle. Okay, not cracked, not broken, and secure. All right, now you have 3 systems on this side, on the driver's side. So system number 1 is steering. System number 2 is your braking. System number 3 would be suspension. So we mentioned system number 1, which was steering. Now we're going to system number 2. System number 2, you work in and out to you. So you start with your ABS line and your brake hose. The brake hose, not cracked, not broken, and secure. And the ABS line, not cracked, not broken, and secure. It's rubber, so you say not dry, rotted, or frayed. And rubber hose. Air is going through these holes, so you say no leaks. And the air is going to the brake chamber. All of this part right here is the brake chamber and the brake chamber bracket. It's not cracked, not broken, and secure. No leaks, not dented, no illegal welds, and no loose or missing parts. What's going into the brake chamber in a 90-degree angle would be your push rod and slack adjuster. And down the bottom is your adjusting nut. You say it's not cracked, not broken, and secure. No illegal welds. And when you pull on it by your hand, this is chapter 11, page 11.3, about the push rod and slack adjuster. When you pull on it by your hand, it should not be able to pull it no more than 1 inch. No more than 1 inch. Now, inside the wheel. So this is the wheel. So inside the wheel, right here, is your brake drum. Okay? Now, you're not going to be able to show the DLA this. This is why you have to be CDL minded. Learning the brake system by heart and the suspension by heart. So you say the brake drum is inside the wheel. The brake drum is not cracked, not broken, and secure. And it's not dented. Inside the brake drum is going to be your brakes. And what lines your brakes is going to be your brake shoe lining. They're not cracked, not broken, and secure. The brake shoe linings, your brake shoes, they should not be worn dangerously thin. This is what you have to say about that. Then you have your brake cam. The brake cam is in the shape of an S. And on top and the bottom of that brake cam, you can call that brake cam either a brake cam or an S cam, either one you choose to use. The brake cam is not cracked, not broken, and secure. Then you have the cam rollers on top of the brake cam, and you have the return spring. They're not cracked, not broken, and secure, and no loose or missing parts. That is the completion of the braking system. Now, System number 3 is your suspension system. So we want to start right here. Right here. These are called your leaf springs. Your leaf springs. All of these are leaf springs. They run from the rear all the way across to the front. Your leaf springs. And in between the leaf springs, right here is U-bolts. And on top of these, or underneath the U-bolts, is your anchor plate. And they sit right here on the axle. Sitting on the axle. So leaf springs, U-bolts, anchor plates, sitting on the axles. They're not cracked, not broken, and secured. The leaf springs are not shifted or missing. And they are held up by the hangers. They are held up by the hangers in the front, right here, and the hangers in the rear. And the hangers are connected to the frame, right here. This is the frame. So when you mention frame, you mention cross members as well. So your hangers, frame, and cross members are not cracked, not broken, and secure. No loose or missing parts, and no illegal welds. And the last part for your suspension would be your hydraulic shock absorber. It's not cracked, not broken, and secure. No leaks. And you have a shock absorber bracket and bushings on top there. And they're not cracked, not broken, and secure. No loose or missing parts, and no illegal welds. And the bushings are not dry rotted or frayed. Then you work your way out to the tire. The tire is not cracked, not broken, and secure, and it's not dry rotted or frayed. The front steering tires cannot have no more than 432, no less than 432 in tread depth. And you check the tread depth with the depth gauge. You check the air pressure with the air pressure gauge or rubber mallet. And the tires should be evenly worn. No cuts or bulges on the side walls. Then you go to your wheel. Not cracked, not broken, and secure. No illegal welds. Your lug nuts. Not cracked, not broken, and secure. None are loose or missing. If they were loose or missing, they would show rust or shininess. The oil hub. Not cracked, not broken, and secure. No loose or missing parts, and no leaks. Then you go to the valve stem. The valve stem is not cracked, not broken, and secure, and no leaks, with a metal cap. That will be the completion of this engine compartment. And then you would say that I will talk about my passenger side the same way as I did my driving side. So you don't have to talk about all of those parts. You just have to be able to mention, I will mention the passenger side the same way as I did the driver's side. Then you close up your hood. And you control it. And you want to go to the passenger side because you're going to go back to that driver's side. So fasten it down on the passenger side. Then you go to the driver's side and you fasten it down on the driver's side. And this will be your starting point going down the vehicle. So we're going to start here with the turn signal indicator. It's not cracked, not broken, and secure. Amber in color, no condensation. Then you have a mud flap down the bottom. Mud flap is not cracked, not broken, and secure. Not dry rotted or frayed, and not dragging the ground. Then you come up to your mirrors. These mirrors, this is your flat mirror and your convex mirror, or West Coast mirror, or spot mirror. And they are held up by the bracket. So they're not cracked, not broken, and secure. no loose or missing parts, no illegal welds. You have here is your battery box. You don't have to open your battery box, but this is where you open it at, right here. You don't have to open it though. It's not cracked, not broken, and secure. And inside the battery box are your batteries, and they are not cracked, not broken, and secure. No leaks, no corrosion around the post, and the cables are not dry rotted or frayed. If you had maintenance-free batteries, then you would not have to add any fluid to the maintenance-free batteries. Next to it is your air tank. Your air tank is not cracked, not broken, and secure, and no leaks, and is free of condensation. This is where you turn the valve and you turn it and you check it. Free of condensation or water or oil. So you don't have to demonstrate it, but I want you to know where you release the air pressure, okay? So that sounds like air, no condensation inside there. Drained daily and no illegal welds. All right, now your door opens and closes properly, and your hinges, no illegal welds. Now this is a dump truck, so you have a hydraulic fluid box. These attachments you don't have to mention, so we're not going to talk about it. But we are going to go underneath here to right here. So we'll start underneath the vehicle with the drive shaft, universal joints, and the rear differential. It's not cracked, not broken, and secure. No illegal welds, no debris wrapped around the universal joints, and no leaks from the rear differential. Now, you don't have to get underneath the vehicle, but you just have to be able to know these parts. You got to be CDL minded, because now we're getting to the rear axle here, and we're not going to be able to get up in this. So you have to be able to be CDL minded here. All right. So what two systems are going to be right here? Your two systems, braking and suspension. So you mentioned your ABS line, your brake hose. Your brake hose go to the brake chamber. Your brake chamber is held up by the brake chamber bracket. Then going into the brake chamber is your push rod, slack adjuster, and adjusting nut. Then that cracked, not broken, and secure, not dry rotted or frayed, no leaks, and the brake chamber is not dented. Inside of the wheel is your brake drum. That brake drum is not cracked, not broken, and secure, and not dented. Inside the brake drum, your brakes and your brake shoe linings, they're not cracked, not broken, and secure, and there's no damage. They are not worn dangerously thin. And after that, you have the brake cam, the cam roller, and return spring, not cracked, not broken, and secure, and no loose or missing parts. Then system number 3, your leaf springs, not cracked, not broken, and secure, none are shifted or missing. And you have U-bolts and the anchor plate. They're sitting on the axle and held up by the hangers. They're not cracked, not broken, and secure. And you talk about your tires, all of them. These rear tires, no less than 232 in tread depth. They can be recapped, and the front tires cannot be recapped. And the tires should be properly inflated. No cuts or bulges on the side walls. No debris in between the tires. And these wheels are bud wheels. That means they are budded together. There's no spacer in between. And the tread depth should be even. The tires are properly inflated to the manufacturer specification. The wheel, it's not cracked, not broken, and secure. No illegal welds. Your lug nuts, not cracked, not broken, and secure. None are loose or missing. If they were loose or missing, they would show rust or shininess. And your axle, it's not cracked, not broken, insecure. No leaks, no loose or missing parts. And then you have your valve stem, and the valve stem is up top here. It's not cracked, not broken, insecure. No leaks, and should have a metal cap. Then you move to you have your mud flaps. They're not cracked, not broken, insecure. None are dragging, not dry rotted or frayed. Now, let me show you one thing here. When you talk about this turn signal, you want to say amber in the front and red to the rear. Amber in the front and red to the rear. Then to the rear, you have your brake lights. Your brake lights are red in color, and your reverse light, white in color. They're not cracked, not broken, insecure, and no condensation. And that would be the completion of your rear of the vehicle. Then you go to the driver's side door. This is when you open the vehicle and you tell the DLA that you're going to use 3 points of contact to enter the vehicle. 1, 2, 3. One hand on the handrail, 1 foot on the brake, on the step, and 1 foot on the ground. And you want to mention your 3 emergency equipment, which would be your fully charged fire extinguisher, the 3 rectangle triangles, reflective triangles, and your spare fuses. And then that's when you get inside. All right, you want to tell the DLA that you're going to use 3 points of contact to enter the vehicle. 1 hand on the handrail, 1 foot on the step, and 1 foot on the ground. 1, 2, 3. 3 points of contact. And while exiting, 3 points of contact as well. Okay? 1, 2, 3. And when you enter, close the door. You know the first thing you do when you get in the vehicle is you put your seatbelt on. You want to tell the DLA that the seat and the seat belt properly locks. Your belt is not frayed, okay? And your mirrors are adjusted for you. You turn the vehicle on. You just turn the key and let your dash lights up, then turn the vehicle on. You want to let the air pressure build up. Now, in the truck, in this dump truck here, you have still no more than 10 degrees of play. No more than 10 degrees of play, right? Remember that. Just as, or 2 inches, no more than 2 inches of play. Or no more than 10 degrees of play. All right, and the key word, remember, inside the truck is properly worked. The key phrase is properly worked. Okay, properly worked. So you hit your city horn. You hit that. The city horn properly works. You hit your air horn. It properly works. And you want to start from your left to the right. So you turn on your windshield wipers. Turn your windshield wipers and make sure they are flush to the windshield. Okay? And then you want to make sure that they wipe away. So that's why you want to, you can, turn on some spray. And the spray will come out and to show and prove that your windshield wipers are flush to the windshield. Next thing will be your turn signals. So you want to show the indicators. Your left turn indicator properly worked. And you want to turn on your right indicator, your 4-way flashers. they properly work. And then from there, you talk about your gauges from left to right. This is on page 2-3 in your book. I'm sorry, 2-4 in your book. 2-4 talks about your gauges and explains the gauges. So this is your temperature gauge. It rises when the vehicle warms up. Then your water and your temperature gauge as it rises up here. And what then the bottom is your oil pressure gauge. And then you have your RPM, and that should rise up when you rev your engine. Your miles per hour, that rises when you move. Your fuel should be at half or full. Your voltmeter, this one shows it should be between 12 and 14. Then you have your air pressure gauge. You only have one air pressure gauge in a Class B vehicle because it only has one tank. So we've reached the governor cutoff rate. Then you turn on your lights. There's your lights. And you want to show your high beam indicator. It's your high beam indicator. It should be blue right here. That's your high beam indicator. Okay? And you turn your lights back off. Then you turn on your vent. Turn your vent on. It should properly work. Now you want to tell the DLA that you've reached the governor cutoff rate and you're ready to do your low air pressure test. And this is your air brake test. So the first thing that you want to do, step 1, is to turn the vehicle off. You turn the vehicle off. Step 1. Step 2 is turn the key on so your dash lights up. Step 2. Turn the key on so your dash lights up and your indicators show. Next thing you want to do is push in your brake. You only have one brake, and that's your parking brake in the Class B vehicle. So you push in the brake, and that air release should have taken less than 1 minute, no more than 1 minute. This is page 5-7 in your book, air brakes. Then you tell the DLA you are going to you want to do your low air leakage test, and you want to hold the brake, service brake, down for 1 minute, 60 seconds. When we get to 12, we will begin. Starting now. Hold the brake down. You hold the service brake down for 60 seconds. Within that 60 seconds, you should not lose no more than 3 PSI within the 1 minute. So you want to use like a stopwatch or a watch that has a second hand. You do not want to use your phone. Somebody could call you, and then you want to start all over, and you think you're going to be able to catch that time, and you're not going to be able to catch it. So you have to just use a stopwatch or something. But you do not move your foot. Remember, you do not move your foot. If you move your foot, you're going to fail. Now we're almost at 12 mark. That 1 minute, it's a long minute. Now I'm at the minute. I release the brake, and you're going to say to the DLA that I did not lose no more than 3 PSI within a minute. Now you're going to tell the DLA, now you're going to do your low air leakage test. And you're going to do that by fanning or pumping your brakes, and this is when you lose air. So we're going to fan it down to 60 PSI. starting now. When I get to 60 psi, my indicator and my low air pressure buzzer should sound. My indicator lit up. So I stop. My indicator lit up. This vehicle does not have a buzzer, but the indicator lit up. My low air pressure indicator lit up. Now I'm going to continue to fan my brakes down to 40 to 20 psi. And the brake that I pushed in, my parking brake that I pushed in, should pop out. Starting now. Parking brake popped out. It properly works. Now you want to tell the DLA, now you're going to build the air pressure back up by turning the vehicle on. And you can accelerate the vehicle and you will build up a lot faster. So keep in mind that you're being timed. So you build up the air pressure and you see as you accelerate, the air pressure builds up a lot faster. Once you get past 60, your low air pressure light indicator should cut out. Past 60, it cut out. And once you get between 90 and 100, you can go ahead and do your tug test. So now I'm at around 90 psi. So I'm gonna go ahead and start my tug test. And tug test is I'm going to put my vehicle in drive and I'm gonna pull against my parking brake. And my parking brake should hold. So we're going to do that. Put the vehicle in drive and I will accelerate and the vehicle should not pull through the parking brake. Starting now. So it held and the parking brake properly held, and so you want to say that the parking brake properly works. And next thing you want to do is tell the DLA that you want to do your service brake test. All you have to do is put the vehicle in drive, and you say you don't have to do it, you just have to say it. You say, I put the vehicle in drive 5 miles an hour forward, apply my service brake, and the vehicle should not pull to the left or pull to the right. And that will be the completion of your air brake test. Now, once you have completed the air brake test, you want to tell the DLA or ask the DLA, now you would like to use the buddy system. Using the buddy system to check your lights outside, your headlights, your turn signals, your four-way flashers, the high beam, and then you go then the DLA will go to the rear. If they don't want to use the buddy system, then that means that you have to come inside, turn on the left turn signal, right turn signal, four-way flashers, high beams, and you go back and forth. But keep in mind, this is a test. So when you are going back and forth in and out of the vehicle, you got to remember to use 3 points of contact. So then the DLA will ask the DLA to go to the rear of the bus or the truck, and you go to the rear, and they'll go to the rear, and you turn on your left turn signal, right turn signal, four-way flashers, and you'll put the vehicle in reverse to show your backup alarm sound properly works. The reverse white light properly comes on, and then put it back in neutral, and then you apply your service brake, and your brakes should illuminate. Then that will be the completion of your air brake test and the completion of your pre-trip. So keep in mind, one step at a time, and say what you're going to do before you do it, because you are reminding yourself, and reminding yourself that you're going to do the steps guides you in the right direction of doing it properly the first time. CDL Book Club is where you get CDL minded. See you soon. Alright, so now what we're going to do now is, when we're talking for the bus, that's the passenger endorsement. So when you enter in the bus, you got to enter the bus. You tell the DLA that you're going to use 3 points of contact. Now, but first you CBS the doors. So the doors open and close properly. The hinges not cracked, not broken, and secure. The rubber seal around the door, it's not cracked, not broken, and secure. Not driver out of the freight. And you enter the bus with 3 points of contact. One hand on the handrail, 1 foot on the step, and 1 foot on the ground. You want to mention that the doors, your steps, not cracked, not broken, and secure. No debris. Your handrail, mention the handrails. They're not cracked, not broken, and secure. And no illegal welds. You have a light right here. And this is your step light right here. Not cracked, not broken, and secure. No condensation. Clean and clear. And then you enter the bus. And then, first thing you do is you put your seatbelt on. Seatbelt, your seat and seatbelt properly locked. Your belt is not frayed, okay? And then you turn the vehicle on. So in the inside of the bus, steering wheel should have no less than 10 degrees of play. Your horn properly works. And you turn your lights on, because what you're going to do right here for your indicators, you turn your left turn signal indicator on, your right turn signal indicator, and your hazards, pull, and your four-way flashers should properly work. And then your windshield wipers are going to be right here. And you want to show that the windshield wipers and the blades are flush to the windshield. So you turn them on. They're flush to the windshield. And you have your vent. You want to turn that on and make sure that your vents properly work, your defrost properly works. Your mirrors are adjusted for you. And now this is not a air brake vehicle, but this is a hydraulic brake vehicle, so we're not going to do air brakes. So we're just going to do interior for the bus here. So you have, speaking of interior, you have your interior lights. So your interior lights properly work, okay? And your dash, you have your oil pressure gauge, your temperature gauge, your RPM should properly work. And the temperature gauge rises when the engine warms up. Your oil pressure gauge should be should reach roughly around 50 to 60 on a PSI on the oil. And then your miles per hour, that would move when you roll it. And your fuel should be at halfway or full. And your voltmeter should be, this is for your battery. Should read between 12 and 14. So it's right there between. So this indicator pretty much tells you where it should be, 12 and 14. All right, now you can get up from your seat. You can leave the vehicle on, and you want to check your seats to make sure that they are secure to the bus. So you get up, you walk behind all the seats, you check them. You want to check to make sure that all your seats are secure by tapping on the rear. And when you get to the rear of the bus, you open the door. You should hear that rear door buzzer. This is for your emergency. Properly works. And then you have your emergency latch where you can open. And you want to make sure that it opens and closes properly. So you exit and you just push it open. All right, and then close it back up. Now you do have window exits also, and you latch them back up. Then you go back to your driver's seat, and how you would check your brakes, what you would do is you put your seatbelt back on, and you would put the vehicle in drive, and let's close the door, and release your brake, and you would put the vehicle in drive, and you would drive 5 miles an hour forward, and you would tell the DLA that you press on your service brake to check your service brake to make sure that your service brake properly work, and it should not pull to the left or to the right. Your emergency brake, have the vehicle in drive, and you want to just apply the service brake. You want to apply your accelerator and just tug on it, and it should properly hold the vehicle. And then from there, once you have done your brake test, then you tell the DLA, or you can ask the DLA to use the buddy system. And using the buddy system, you want to check all your lights, your left turn indicator, right turn indicator, high beams, and then you go to the back of the bus, ask the DLA to go to the back of the bus, and then you're going to do press on your brake, make sure that your brakes illuminate, put your vehicle in reverse, and then make sure that the vehicle, your backup alarm and your reverse light illuminates, and you do your left turn signal, right turn signal, four-way flashers. And also you want to just go through your gears selector and make sure that all your vehicle, all your transmission is sound, and that's your reverse. Now you put it in neutral, and then that would be the completion of your pre-trip. And there you go. That would be the end. CDL Book Club is where you get what? CDL minded. We see you soon.